Can you see? Okay lang ba? Okay, so Criminal Law 1 or Revised Penal Code Book 1. Pero yung itutunan natin today is just the basic principles only and basic concepts kasi yan po ang lumalabas sa law school and law school exams and bar examination. So just master this one. So sa bar exam, this is just 10% lamang po ito. Okay? For and sa law school, I think ilang units ito? 3 units. Okay? Pero sa bar exam, para siyang konti lang ito. Though dalawa yung libro, book 1 and book 2, pero ah tsaka marami ang i-check mo lang dito sa RPC or the penal laws itong ah, mga elements, di ba? Elements na for each offenses and crimes. Okay, let's start. Okay. So, basic principles sa criminal law, you start with ano ang pinaka main niya? Mala in se, okay, mala in se, and the other one is mala prohibita. Prohibita. Or mala prohibito. Okay? So crimes mala in se are inherently immoral. Okay, pag sinabing mala in se, crimes are inherently immoral and involve intent to commit a crime. So pero ang good faith is a defense in mala in se crimes but is not a defense in mala prohibita crimes where what is required is merely the intent to perpetuate the act. So although most crimes punished under special penal laws are mala prohibita. Okay, yung mga special penal laws are mala prohibita. There are also those that are some mala inse. Okay? So, lalabas ba ito sa exam? Probably one item or one few points lamang po ito. Okay? So, in the case of Cardona versus People, so an act prohibited by special law does not automatically make it malum prohibitum. So, not automatically mala prohibita. So, because when acts complain of are inherently immoral, they are deemed mala inse. Okay, they are deemed mala inse. Ito yung sabi ng sa case ni Cardona versus People. Because even if they are punished by special law, special penal laws, the bench and bar must rid themselves of the common misconceptions that all mala inse crimes are found in the RPC. Okay? So, sinabi din sa case ni Matalam versus People 2016. So, the general rule is that acts punished under special law are malum prohibitum. So, mostly sa special penal laws are malum prohibitum which an act which is declared malice or criminal intent is completely immaterial. So hence, intent to commit the crime and intent to perpetrate the act must be distinguished. So let's say for example, a person may not have consciously intended to commit a crime but he did intend to commit an act. Okay? So sinabi rin sa case ni Garcia versus Court of Appeals, the acts prohibited, let's say for example, sa Omnibus Election Code are mala inse. So um, since mala inse are inherently immoral and involve intent to commit a crime. That's why sa mostly sa Omnibus Election Code, they are mala inse. Okay? So, yan. Okay. So, let's say for example, other case, let's say for example, People versus Comia, the act of transporting a prohibited drug is a malum prohibitum. So, an act po, transporting a drug is a malo prohibitum or mala prohibita. Why? Because it is punished as an offense under, bakit siya? Is special law or special penal laws. So not all, but mostly, special penal laws cases are malo prohibitum. Okay? Gets? Okay. Let's go to one of the most important scope and characteristics. Meron tayong generality. So if you have idea of this one, generality, and we have also territoriality. Tama ba? Territoriality, okay. And the other one is prospectivity. Yan, sometimes mis we have misconceptions on either of these three. Pero, let's make it simplify. So, pag sinabing generality, all persons who commit crimes within the territory. All persons commit crime within the territory. Pag sinabing territoriality, penal laws apply to all offenses committed within the Philippines. Okay. So all offenses committed within the Philippine territory, that's why it's territoriality. What do you mean by prospectivity? Pag sinabing prospectivity, itong mga penal laws do not have retro. Kasi prospectivity. So dapat hindi siya retroactive. So itong mga penal laws do not have retroactive effect. Okay, let's go back. Ano nga yung generality? Pag sinabing generality, penal laws apply to all persons. All persons, okay, who commit crimes within that territory. Pag sinabing territoriality means penal laws apply to all. Oh yeah, all offenses within the Philippine territory. Okay? So, uh, meron ding other jurisdiction, as for example, who's who against crimes and other UNCLOS, di ba? So, yan. And the prospectivity, pag sinabing prospectivity, it means that penal laws do not have retroactivity or retroactive effect. So, wala siyang uh, retroactive effect kasi ang loss natin is prospectivity. So these are the um, uh, uh, basic when it comes to the RPC or criminal law. Okay, so let's say for example, let's say for the case of Hernan versus Sandigan Bayan 2017, for as long as the penal law is favorable to the accused, it shall find application regardless of whether its effectivity comes after the time when the judgment of conviction is rendered and a service of sentence has already begun. Okay. Meron ding other terms. Let's say for example, pro, di ba? Familiar? Reo. Pro reo principle. So sa case Anti-State Estate of Gonzales versus People 2010, sinabi nila that the fundamental principles in applying and interpreting criminal laws is resolve all doubts in favor of the accused. Meaning, in short po, pag sinabing this pro reo principle or in dubio pro reo, it means when in doubt, rule for the accused. So in dubio pro reo, when in doubt, rule for the accused. Lalabas ba ito sa exam? Not really, but the idea or the concept is nandoon. Each item. Okay, so not necessarily na i-state mo yung term na indobio pro reo, but the idea, the concept is there in each and every item. Okay? Because intimately related to the indobio pro reo principle is the rule of lenity. What do you mean by rule of lenity? Lenity. The rule applies when the court is faced with two possible interpretations of a penal statute. Okay? So, sinabi rin sa Spouses Dulay versus People 2021, so we have applied the doctrine of pro reo principle and the correlative rule on lenity when there is doubt as to the applicability of various penalties. Sinabi rin si Pulido versus People 2021, ang indobio pro reo, when in doubt, rule for the accused. This is in consonance with the constitutional guarantee that the accused shall be presumed innocent unless and until his guilt is established beyond the reasonable doubt. Innocent ha? Innocent unless until his guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Okay? So, ito, meron ding rule. Let's say for example, ex post facto law. Diba? Familiar. So, pag sinabing ex post facto law, It means that um, a criminal act, it is an act done before the passage of the law and which was innocent when done and punishes such act. So let's say for example, aggravates a crime or makes it greater than it was when it committed. So changes the punishment and inflicts a greater punishment when the law annexed to the crime. Okay, so sample na lang tayo, sample. Uh, let's go back to spouses Dulay versus people. Sinabi nila that when the court declared that the proscription against ex post facto law should be applied to the interpretation of the original text, let's say for the law of RA 9160, because the passage of said law stripped another layer of the rule on absolute confidentiality that provided a measure of law protection to the account holder. Okay? So in recognition of the ex post facto law, clause of the Constitution explicitly provides dapat ang penal provision shall not apply to acts done prior to the effectivity of the AMLA of October 17, 2001. That's for the case of Dulay. Okay? So, yan. So, ang interpretation natin sa penal laws, dapat ang penal laws are strictly construed against the government. Okay? So, ang nangyayari ang nangyayari sa real life, parang kawawa yung though alleged pa siya, parang siyang na-convict, di ba? So ang rule talaga, ang interpretation ng penal law against talaga sa government and liberally in favor of the accused. That's the indobio pro reo principle. Okay, so dapat in favor of the accused. Pero ang nangyayari in real life, in reality, parang iba. Okay? Alleged pa nga, para nang ang tingin natin is convicted na. Okay? That's why maraming nakulong and it needs to have certain justice for each uh, proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So, pag sinabing a retroactive penal of laws, the general rule that the retroactive effect insofar as they favor the person guilty of the felony. Okay? So, let's say for example, sa, ma'am, oh, okay. So, let's say for example ha, sa case ni People versus Sarcia. So, sabi doon that the retroactive application of the act to those who have been convicted are serving sentence at the time of the effectivity of the said act and were below the age of 18 years at the time of the commission of the offense. So, ang sinasabi doon, ang Republic Act 9344 sa Section 68 nag-retroactive application. Okay? Pero ang rule, alam mo na ang rule, dapat sa prospectivity does not have a retroactive effect. Okay? Okay, let's go to okay, sa let's say for example sa felonies, pasadahan lang natin ha yung mga not really lalabas pasadahan. So sa felonies, let's say for example sa Article 3, sa Article 3. So pag sinabing felonies are committed not only by means of deceit or dolo, but also by means of fault or culpa. Okay, sa felonies, acts and omissions punishable are felonies or delito. Diba? Familiar? Delitos or delito. Because felonies are committed not only by means of deceit or known as dolo, but also by means of fault, culpa. Dolo, deceit, culpa, tapos ang fault, culpa. That's felonies, delito. Okay? So yan. Mga basic lang yan, basic. So, ang elements ng felonies or delitos, they must be an act or omission. Dapat merong act or omission. Such must be punishable by the RPC and such is performed or incurred by means of either fault or is by means of deceit or fault or dolo or culpa. Dapat yun ang mga elements ng felonies or delitos. Okay, so you know already that felonies have gravity. Grave ba siya, less grave, or light? Tapos merong mode of transmission, intentional and culpable. Tapos ang nature niya, either, yung sinabi ko kanina, mala inse and mala prohibita, which is mala inse, inherently immoral. Okay? So, yan. Aberration. So, pasadahan lang natin ha. Lalabas ba ito? Yes, maybe one item. Ito mga aberratio ictus, meron mga error in personae, and praetor intentionem. Okay, pag sinabing praetor intentionem, injury cause is greater than what was intended. Okay? Pero, lack of intento to commit a grave wrong. So, ang praetor intentionem, uh, praetor intentionem. Yan. The praetor intentionem is my lack of intent. That's why pag sa kaso na mitigating siya. Okay? So for aberratio ictus. Okay, what do you mean by aberratio ictus? So sa aberratio ictus, miscarriage of the blow, meaning ang definition niya, it mistake in blow at least two victims. So it would be simplified in Article 48 on complex crime. Okay? So sa aberratio ictus, meron siyang miscarriage of the blow. It means there is a mistake, at least mga two victims. Okay? So for error in personae, what do you mean by that? Pag sinabing error in personae, these are just basic ha. Meaning, ang error means mistake. Mistake in identity. Error, mistake. Personae, identity. So there is a mistake in identity. What do you mean by that? Mistake in identity, but less than or only one victim. It will be it will apply on Article 49 sa RTC. Okay, sa mistake in identity. Okay. Ito, pinaka-importante. Possible lalabas. Article 4. Okay, Article 4, RPC. Criminal liability. Sa criminal liability, by any person committing a delito. What do you mean by that? Felony. Although the wrongful act done be different from that which he intended. And by any person performing an act which would be an offense against persons or property. Against persons or property were it not for the inherent impossibility of its accomplishment or account of the employment adequate. Okay? So ang modes niya is, alam mo na, we have your dolo and you have your culpa. You have your deceit and um, oh yes. So ang requisites niya sa dolo dapat mayroong freedom, intelligence, and intent. Pag wala niyan, it's not really the dolo. And also for culpa, instead of intent, accused is imprudent, negligent. So ang ang clue mo lang is negligent. So negligent. Negligent siya, tapos imprudent, tapos ito, legal keyword, lacks foresight or skill while doing the act. So, lacks foresight or skill. Okay? Let's say for example, sa case, what if quasi offenses? Okay? So, in the case of Sevilla versus People, 2014, quasi offenses under Article 365 of the RPC, though book 1 ka pa, but for educational purposes lang, are distinct and separate crimes and not a mere modality in the commission of the offense. So, thus the proper designation of the felony should be reckless imprudence resulting to falsification of public documents and not falsification of public documents through reckless imprudence. Okay, that's for quasi offenses. Um, let's say for example, in the case of People versus Pugay, so sinabi doon that the accused is only guilty of homicide through reckless imprudence. But sa book 2 na yan, Article 365 with RPC. Mm, ano pa? Okay, ito. Under sa Article 4, we have kinds of criminal intent. We have the general, and we have the specific. What do you mean by that? Specific, general, and specific. presume from the commission of a felony by dolo. That's your general. Presume from the commission of a felony by dolo. Deceit. Ang specific naman is must be proven by direct or circumstantial evidence. So, ang motive mo is the reason or compelling force. So, ang clue mo dito, sa Article 4, and this reason or compelling force is the motive. Ano talaga motibo? Di ba? Motive. Because the criminal intent is the purpose of the accused in adopting particular means to achieve his objective. Okay? So, let's say for example, in the case of Serrano versus People 2010, so ang intent to kill is a state of mind that the courts can discern only through external manifestations. Diba? Sa court, meron din mga manifesting. So, acts and conduct of the accused of the crime, the assault, and immediately thereafter. So, sa Serrano versus People case, ang intent to kill, 'di ba? So ang kailangan mo sa Article 4 is motive. Pero sinabi doon that the intent to kill is a state of mind that the courts can discern only through external manifestation. So may mga exemption to the rule, meron din tayong general rule and all of that. Okay? Okay. So, eto, mistake of fact. Mistake of fact. What do you mean by mistake of fact? There is no liability for mistake of fact. Okay? The act would have been lawful had the act been as the accused believed them to be. So then, pero, though there is no liability for mistake of fact, pero kailangan mo ring pagbayaran yung kahit po siya, kahit po negligent, kahit po lack of foresight skill or um, negligent tapos hindi mo sinasadya, pero kailangan mo pa rin pagbayaran under the law. Though sinasabi daw that there is no liability, pero kailangan mo pa rin pagbayaran. So that's why pumapasok na doon ang civil liability kasi separate ang civil at saka criminal liability. If you know your criminal procedure, kagabi, magiging separate siya. So kailangan pag-aralan din yung sa yung civil law. Oh. Mm, mm, yes. Oh. Oh, so ang purpose sa criminal liability is to punish the offender. Pero ang civil liability is to ano, pagbayaran yung nagawa mong damages or whatsoever. So dapat pagbayaran mo. So kahit siya negligent, kahit siya culpa siya, though sinasabi doon sa mistake, kahit mistake of fact pa, there is no liability. Pero kailangan mo pa rin pagbayaran. Maybe you will go to the civil part, di ba? Okay? Okay, good. Oh, let's say for example, sa case ni Yap Yoko versus Sandigan Bayan 2012, so in the context of criminal law, a mistake of fact is a misapprehension of a fact, which if true would have been justified the act or omission. So, ang clue mo lang dito sa criminal law or sa exam later on, mamaya uh, is the act or omission, okay? Yung nagawa niya. Tapos may motive. Saka na papasok yung doon ang Article 4, which is your criminal liability. Okay, ito. Another one. Impossible crime. What do you mean by impossible crime? Pag sinabing impossible crime, the act performed would be an offense against persons or property. So ang clue mo dito, impossible crime is against persons or property. Kasi ang sabi nila, act done with evil intent. Evil intent. Act done with evil intent. Because its accomplishment is inherently impossible or that the means employed is either inadequate or ineffectual. So noon, naguguluhan ako, ano ba itong impossible crime? Para siyang biblical, nothing is impossible, pero impossible crime. So it relates to the personal and the property. That's why it's called impossible, because it's inherently impossible, and the means employed is inadequate or ineffectual. So ang act performed should not constitute a violation of another provision of the RPC. Okay? So there is no attempted or frustrated. So ang clue mo is there is no attempted or frustrated sa impossible crime. Kasi inherently evil talaga. Oh, that's why walang attempted, walang frustrated. Okay? Mm, let's say for example sa stages of execution, a felony is consummated with all the elements necessary for its execution and accomplishment are present. So if you review your Codal or Revised Penal Code, Book 1, nandoon ang mga elements necessary for its execution accomplishment are present. So pag sinabing consummated na ang felony, it means to frustrated when the offender The offender perform the all acts of execution. Na-execute niya, pero all elements and all acts. Okay? Which would produce the felony as a consequence, but which, nevertheless, do not produce it. Pero, since all acts are executed by reason of causes independent of the will of the perpetrator. So, nanggaling sa kanya, may motive na, may intent na, tapos may evil pa. So, that's the na-consume niya, consummated. Pero pag sinabing attempt lang, the offender commences the commission of the all directly or overtly acts. Okay? Huwag na lang yan. Okay. So, ang other basics nito is felonies. Diretso na tayo sa yung sa Article 8. Ay, ito rin. Isa ring example sa criminal law is I think kung nadaanan mo is yung Article 48, yung para yung mga computation and also the penalty for complex crimes. Okay, may mga items in your exams later on complex crime siya, and it would apply on Article 48. So aside from you study Article 4, Article 8, Article 11 to 15, also study Article 4. Bakit? Kasi doon pumapasok si complex crime. Tapos, pumapasok na rin sa indeterminate sentence law. Okay, so parang add-on siya. So Article 48 isama mo na lang yung pag-study. Pero good news, top 1 attorney, then is I'll give you a sample bar questions rin para makaprepare ka talaga mamaya. Para alam mo kung paano sagutin at saka yung mga kasi yung i-change na lang yung name eh. So I'll give you the sample criminal law bar exam, bar question and answer para ma-practice mo. Okay? Kasi from now on dapat more on essay ka na at saka construction or how to effectively convey or you answer your exam later on. Okay? So, yan. So, Article 48. So, isingit ko lang, Article 48, importante yan because it talks about the complex crime. Complex crime. Complex crime, no? Tama, complex crime. So, merong mga compound crime, delito compuesto, or complex crime proper, or delito. So, focus more in the plurality. Okay, so, marami siyang crimes na na-commit. So, either formal, either real, or material. Okay? So, pasadahan mo lang yung Article 48 mamaya and other bar question and answers. Okay. Ito, sample lang. Let's say for example, speaking of conflict laws, meron tayong tinatawag na political offense. Kasi possible lalabas ito mamaya. So pag sinabing political offense doctrine, what do you mean by that? It is a complex crimes perpetrated in furtherance of a political offense. Probably more on this one is more on the administrative side. Okay, whether executive, whether legislative or judiciary. So it's perpetrated in the political offense. Political offense siya. Okay, though it's a complex crime kasi merong mga add-on crimes na commit, okay, are divested of their character as common offenses and assume the political complexion of the main crime of which they are mere ingredients and consequently cannot be punished separately from the principal offense or complex with the same to justify the imposition of graver penalty. So, one example of that is from the case of Ocampo versus Abando 2014. So, ang sinabi doon, ang issue doon, whether the murder charges against petitioners should be dismissed under the political offense doctrine. Okay, political offense doctrine, ang sagot doon hindi kasi ang political offense doctrine is not a ground to dismiss the charge against petitioners prior to the determination by the trial court that the murders were committed in furtherance of rebellion. Okay, so maraming sample dyan. Okay. Hmm, eto, in the case of People versus Aspili, ang sinabi doon, special complex crime, robbery with homicide, aggravated by rape. Okay? So mostly, this is more on the aggravating circumstances. Okay? So pag mga complex na, okay. Okay. So let's jump to one of the most important, one of the numerous na itatanong later on is the circumstances. Okay, isang example yan is yung justifying. Justifying, di ba? Justifying circumstances. Okay, one example of this is self-defense. Self-defense. Mostly maraming lalabas yan. So, pasadahan mo na at saka aralin ang justifying circumstances and related to in relation to self-defense. Kasi sinabi pang self-defense, anyone who acts in defense of his person or rights, provided that the following circumstances concur. Ano nga yung first? Unlawful regression. Okay? Unlawful regression. Second, reasonable necessity of the means employed to prevent or repeal it. Third, lack of sufficient provocation on the part of the person defending himself. Kindly memorize the three. Okay? Kasi pag sinabi na nun, so justifying yun. Pero sa self-defense, kindly enumerate those three. Okay, so alam mo na. Number one, unlawful aggression. Dapat may unlawful aggression. Number two, reasonable necessity of the means employed to prevent or repel it. And number three, lack of sufficient provocation on the part of the person defending himself. Okay? There is lawful unlawful aggression when the peril to one's life, limb, or right is either actual or imminent. So, para siyang mm, delikado na. So, kailangan niya ng unlawful aggression. Let's say for example, a slap on the face is unlawful aggression. A strong retaliation of an injury or threat may amount to unlawful aggression. The killing of the deceased by the defendant be simultaneous with the attack made by the former. At least both acts succeeded either without appreciable interval of time. The accused must have no time nor occasion for deliberation and cool thinking. So meron siyang unlawful aggression. Okay? Let's say for example, a public officer exceeding his authority may become an unlawful aggressor. Okay, kahit pala public officer, nag-exceed siya sa kanyang authority. Okay, may become an unlawful aggressor. Okay. Oh, what if a mere threatening or intimidating attitude, not preceded by an outward and material aggression, is not unlawful aggression. So ang clue mo dyan, ah, kahit threatening siya or mere or intimidating ang kanyang attitude, not necessarily an unlawful aggression. Okay, because it is required the act of an offensive, positive, strong, showing the wrongful intent of the aggressor. Dapat nandoon na para to have the self-defense. Okay? In the case of People versus Robiso, unlawful aggression is a condition sine qua non. Okay? Sine qua non. Pwede nyo man ilagay sa exam later on. Ang unlawful aggression is a condition sine qua non for the justifying circumstance of self-defense because it contemplates an actual sudden and unexpected attack or imminent danger thereof and not merely a threatening or intimidating attitude. Okay? So yan. Oh, sa case ng People versus Pereira, 2021, the elements of justifying, so study ha, elements of justifying circumstances. Self-defense were not present. It requires unlawful aggression of the part of the victim, reasonable necessity of the means employed by the accused to repel it, and lack of sufficient provocation on his part. Okay, top 1 attorney din, kailangan i-memorize po yan kasi maraming lalabas later on. So, enumerate the three and the elements or para sa self-defense or justifying circumstances. Okay? Memorize. Tapos ilagay mo yan sa exam later on. So sa case ni People versus Lansang, the justifying circumstance of defense of a relative can only be raised where there is a concurrence of the requisites of unlawful. So kahit pala relatives, basta nandoon ang requisite sa unlawful aggression, reasonable necessity of the means employed, and the person making defense had no part in the provocation. Okay. So for example, defense of relatives. So relative mo i-defense. So anyone who acts in defense of the personal rights of his spouse, ascendants, descendants, or legitimate natural or adopted brothers or sisters or relatives by affinity in the same degrees and those consanguinity within the fourth civil degree, provided that the first and second requisites prescribed in the next preceding circumstance are present and further requisite in case the revocation was given by the person attacked or that the one making had no part therein. So ano bang requisites? Unlawful aggression. Number two, reasonable necessity of the means employed to prevent or repel it. Number three, in case the provocation was given a person attack, the one making the defense had no part therein. Dapat meron po siya those tatlo. Okay? Okay. At least meron ka ng idea. Okay? So, because there was, okay, what if, let's say for example sa case ni Manavan versus Court of Appeals, there was no unlawful aggression on the part of the victim. Okay? So that only from the case of Manaban versus Court of Appeals because aggression presupposes that the person attacked must face a real threat to his life. Dapat may real threat to his life. Para kailangan may lawful aggression, para may self-defense, at kailangan ma-justify niya. Dapat may real threat to his life and the peril sought to be avoided is imminent and actual, hindi lang sa thinking, not imaginary. Dapat may real threat. Okay? At risk na ang buhay mo. So, kailangan unlawful aggression. Okay? So, yan. Let's go to the exempting circumstances. The following are exempt from criminal liability. Imbecile or insane? Oh, may problema sa pag-iisip unless the latter has acted during a lucid interval. Kasi itong mga psychological, let's say sa case sa mga psychiatric, may time talaga na matino ang kanilang pag-iisip. Okay? May time din na if hindi maka-take ng gamot, babalik sila doon sa natural psychologic. If the person is imbecile or insane, unless nasa lucid interval siya. Exempting ka kung insane. Exempting ka kung under 15 years of age. Exempting ka under 18 over 15. Exempting ka pag injury by mere accident. Exempting ka if irresistible force. Exempting ka pag uncontrollable fear by impulse. Exempting ka if lawful ka. Insuperable cause. A cause. So, dapat imbecile, insanity, basta wag lang mag-lucid interval. Okay? Insanity. Pero mostly mga insanity ay yung sample. Okay. Fulfillment of duty. Okay. When we say yung sa mitigating, what do you mean by that? Mitigating incomplete defense, mitigating responsibility, praeter intentionem. It means that the offender had no intention to commit a grave wrong. Provocation, immediate vindication of great offense, and passion or obfuscation. So, possible lalabas to, passion or obfuscation. It means that having acted upon an impulse so powerful as naturally to have produced passion or obfuscation. Dapat may voluntary surrender, so that's why mitigating siya. May plea of guilty, that's why mitigating siya. Deaf and dumb, blind, mitigating siya. Illness, may sakit, that would diminish the exercise of the willpower. So mitigating din siya. And analogous, what do you mean by that? Finally, any other circumstances of a similar nature and analogous to those above mentioned. So same, so binanggit ko, these are mitigating circumstances. Kailangan ba pagbayaran din yung kasalanan? Yes, pagbayaran din, whether criminal or civil, pero mitigating or by lower degree na. Okay? Kasi nabanggit doon, uh, ordinary or generic man are those enumerated in Article 13. Okay? Greater intentionem. Ito lang mga possible na lalabas. Okay. Hold on. Ano pang lalabas? Alivosya. Okay, let's go to aggravating. Ang aggravating, it means that uh, mostly ito sa public official, diba? Mostly sa public official ang aggravating. Because sa aggravating circumstances, let's say for example, abuse of public position on a politically done by a public officer or took advantage of the position. Let's say for example, falsification of document by public officers or malversation. So, um, the public authority is engaged in the exercise of his functions tapos meron siyang ginagawang mali, it becomes direct assault if done against authority. So, um, it aggravates because of abuse of confidence, obvious ungratefulness, even the palace of the chief executive. Okay? Oh. Tapos may calamity or misfortune. Yan. Aid of armed men. Tapos, recidivist pa. Offender is on trial for an offense. Tapos meron pa siyang maraming kasalanan. And even analogous, offenses embrace in same title of the code. Kahit pa special penal laws yan, it also applies if both offenses violate the same ordinance. Okay? So, meron din aggravating explosion. There is intent to kill using explosion. The crime is murder. So, great ways. Meron din consideration on derailment of locomotive. Ito. Familiar. Evident premeditation. Time when offender determined to commit a crime. Kasi merong craft, na-craft siya, merong fraud, merong disguise. So, it contributes. Ito, abuse of superior strength. Yan, ilagay mo yan. Diba? Abuse of superior strength. Oo. Tapos, ignominy must tend to make the effects of the crime more humiliating, putting the victim to shame. That's ignominy. 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 There is unlawful entry. Yan, aggravate yan. There is breaking of wall, roof, floor, door, window. Oh yes. Let's say for example, Oh, let's say for example, offender need not, let's say for example, forcible entry, 'di ba? Aggravating 'yan. Tapos, ito, what if, ah, the accused, tapos may dala siyang minor, yan, aggravating yan. Tumulong sa kanya, yes, with the aid of person under 15, by means, mostly by motor vehicle, yan, kuhan yan, aggravating. Basta, magiging aggravating siya pag ma-detect mo na ah, ah, parang it consummates yung sa crime niya na nagawa. Okay? Tapos inherently immoral, may motive rin, evil intent. Yan. Pero mas grabe siya, aggravating siya because ginagawa niya yung mga unusual things that would aggravates sa kasalanan. Okay? Okay. How about if this is an alternative circumstances? Kasi ang alternative circumstances are those which must be taken into consideration as aggravating or mitigating. Alternative siya because according to the nature and effects of the crime and the conditions attending to its commission, they are the relationship, intoxication, and degree of instruction and education of the offender. So, kasi for example, sa case ni People versus Aurelia. So, the prosecution's failure to allege specifically Remeline's minor age prevents the transformation of the crime to its qualified form. Okay? So sa case of People versus Bondok, lack of instruction, generally mitigating. So para siyang mga special circumstances, right? Itong alternative. Except in crimes against property and justice. So sa case ni People versus Fontillas, itong word na intoxication, assertion that his extreme intoxication from alcohol on the night of the rape should be appreciated as mitigating circumstance. So sa case din ng People versus Dawaton, the alternative circumstance or intoxication in favor of the accused. So mostly sa alternative, more on the intoxication. Okay, so intoxication and relationship. That's the alternative circumstances. Okay. Okay, ito. Persons liable and degree of participation. So meron tayong principal. Ito. Lal, lalabas to, basic principles. Principal, accomplices. Dapat ma-identify mo ang tatlo. Accomplices, and you have your accessories. Yan. So ang elements at saka yung requirement of this, each of the three, ay nandoon sa caudal. Okay? So, just read, pero pasadahan na natin principal, accomplices, and accessories. Kasi pag sinabing principal, by direct participation, by induction, and by indispensable cooperation. So, nagiging principal. At saka yung accomplices ay just uh, sa design ng crime, para siyang nag-contribute lang, contribute. Cooperates in the execution. Ang accomplices, nag-cooperate lang sa execution. Kasabwat. At saka, what is the distinction and difference doon sa accomplices? Ang accomplices kasi, ay no, accessories pala. Ang accessories kasi is, meron siyang knowledge of the crime, pero hindi siya nag-participate. Hindi masyado nag-participate. Pero meron siyang knowledge. Ang principal is may participation talaga, parang main talaga siya. Accomplices, tumulong. Tapos ang accessories, meron siyang knowledge, pero hindi siya masyadong tumulong. Yes. That's the difference lang, in simplest terms. Okay? Okay. Ano pa? Another basic. So that's why papasok ito, since principal accomplices or accessories are important. So that's why in Article 8, which is conspiracy and proposal to commit felony, sinabi doon, a conspiracy exists when two or more persons, two or more persons come to an agreement concerning, so that's why conspiracy siya, conspiracy, two or more persons, there is an agreement for the commission of the crime or felony. Tapos, ang proposal lang is when the person has decided to commit a felony, proposes execution to some other person or person. So, uh, little. Okay? Uh, yes, two or more sa conspiracy. Ang proposal is, ang person is nag-execute lang siya sa other person. Okay? That's for Article 8. So, ang requisites lang sa proposal is a person has decided to commit a felony and proposes its execution. Okay? Pero ang main talaga is yung conspiracy. Requisites. Uh, ito, importante din ito. How do you determine that the habitual, habitually delinquent, ito, and also recidivist. Ano bang pinagkaiba dyan? Yes. Lagi niyang ginagawa, pero, ito lagi niyang ginagawa, pero dapat lumagpas siya ng 3 or more. 3 or more. Yes, 3 or more siya dapat. That's the exact, di ba? Kapag sinabing recidivist, kasi hindi na 'to puwedeng sabihin, habitual, recidivist, dapat pabalik-balik ang kanyang ginagawa, paulit-ulit. Pero, what are the numbers? Kailan? 10 ba? 20? So, ang exact is, yan, hindi yan in-explain, hindi yan i-explain kasi yan, baka nakaligtaan ni Prof or ni Dean or ni attorney. Hindi niya in-explain na pang-ilan, pang 10 times na recidivist. O hindi na, pero na meron palang number. So, ang habitually delinquent is 3 or more. What about the recidivist? Ilan? Ang recidivist is second time. It not necessarily third, fourth, fifth, basta pang second time, recidivist ka na. Yan. Nagets mo na? So, when you answer later on, mas malinaw na sa iyo. Pag habitual delinquent, third or more. Tagayan tayo, hindi talaga yan nag-iisip kasi 3 or more na talaga eh. Pero sa recidivist, pag once pa, hindi pa pwede. Pero pag second time na, recidivist na ang tawag mo. Pero pag third time na, more habitually delinquent na. Yan, that's the exact, uh, yan. Okay? That's the exact. So pag habitually delinquent, 3 or more. Pag isa pa, normal na kasalanan, normal crime, normal felony. Pagka dalawa na, recidivist ka na kasi inulit mo na eh. Pag tatlo or more than, pang-apat or more than, you are only habitually delinquent. So it's already by the word habitually, meaning habit mo na. Okay, sige, magnakaw ako ngayon. Pang third time na. Magnakaw ulit bukas. So that's habitually delinquent. Yan. Yan, gets? Okay. Ano pa mga basic? O ito. Another. Multiple offenses. Actually, marami, meron ding lalabas later on, multiple offenses. Or let's say complex crimes, di ba? Multiple offenses. Anong sabi? Dapat recidivist. Or, oh, what if, ito, reiteration. Reiteration. What is the distinction, or ano ba ang pagkaiba ng habitually delinquent sa recidivist at saka reiteration? Ang reiteration is habit lang siya, habit. Pero pag habitually delinquent, para siyang, alam mo ba, nga ang habitually delinquent, pwede siya matawag na recidivist pa rin. How? Multi-recidivist. Ang tawag, multi-recidivist. Pero hindi niyan lalabas. Ang i-check mo lang is reiteration. What do you mean by that? Habitually. Pero walang numbers nilagay. Para basta habitually lang. So, ilalagay mo sa exam mamaya, yung taong yan, since paulit-ulit, habitually, pero walang numbers, kung ilan, 3 times ba, they are called reiteration. Ang tawag doon is reiteration, meaning habitually. Pero walang numbers. Hindi ko sinabing 3 times or more. Hindi ko sinabing twice. That's why they are called reiteration. Okay? Gets? Ayan. At least meron ng linaw konti. Ano pa? If, ito. Classification. Classification. So, pag sinabing capital, that's death. Pero, since meron na sa caudal mo nilagay doon na hindi na i-apply yung death penalty. So, other term for that from the capital is reclusion perpetua, reclusion temporal. Okay? So, afflictive siya. That's the capital. Ang afflictive, separate pala yun. Sorry. Ang afflictive pala is perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification or perpetual temporary special disqualification. More or less, more on the administrative ito. More on sa mga politics. And we have correctional. Correctional. O, dito na papasok si correctional. Dito na papasok si ang capital, reclusion perpetua, reclusion temporal. Ang afflictive, prison mayor. Ang correctional is prison correctional. Okay, that's the classification of penalty. All right. And also sa correctional, merong arresto mayor, meron ding suspension and distierro. Ang light lang is arresto minor and public censure. So magkano ang bayaran sa afflictive? That should be 1.2 M. Sa correctional, 40,000 to 1.2. Sa light penalties, 40,000. Okay. Ito pala. Republic Act 9346 abolish death penalty. So, Article 9346 abolish na ang death penalty pero doon pa rin sa ah, Republic Act 9346 abolish death penalty. Yan yung law. Kaya doon na lang tayo sa reclusion perpetua, reclusion temporal. Yung exchange. Yes. 9344. Okay. And the uh, ano pa, ulit mo natin. So ang case doon, one example case is People versus Bond. Yung in-explain doon ang paano transfer ng death penalty to perpetua or temporal or reclusion. Ang case doon is People versus Bond. Okay? So, uh, ano pa? Oh, what do you mean by preventive imprisonment? Ay, preventive imprisonment. Imprisonment. Hold on na. Parang may nag-chat. Hold on, wait lang. Ay, may message pala. Okay. Anyway, alauna pa man ito. Okay, so, sige. So, what do you mean by preventive imprisonment? Pag sinabing preventive imprisonment, just bear with my background na kasi may merong kasi merong laundry na gumagawa so may inaayos lang. So, ha? Dili, may nag-aayos ba sa kabila? Okay, ito so okay. So, pag sinabing preventive imprisonment, when the offense charge is non-bailable or he cannot furnish the required bail, shall be credited in the service of their sentence consisting of deprivation of liberty with the full time during which they have undergone preventive imprisonment if the detention prisoner ay, meron pala mga exemptions ito. Okay, preventive imprisonment. When the offense charge is non-bailable or he cannot furnish non-bailable. So deprivation of liberty full time. Deprivation of liberty with a full time during which they have undergone preventive imprisonment if the detention the prisoner agrees voluntarily in writing after being informed the offenses thereof and with the assistance of the counsel. Okay? So, wala lang yan. Hindi yan lalabas. So, ang i-focus mo lang talaga is Article 4, Article 8, Article 11 to 15, and Article 48. Tapos, kung nag-require yung sa bar examination po, wala nang competition. Wala nang competition. Sa law school lang ang may competition. Pero I think sa law school may enumeration. Kana yan. Aggravating. Sa bar exam, wala nang computation na, wala nang math. Automatic essay lang talaga pure. Pero sa law school oh, tapos may computation ang law school. Aralin mo lang isali mo na lang yung computation, yung mga penalties, baka may lalabas one item. Oo. Anyway, ito. What is the difference between uh, reclusion, reclusion perpetua, versus life imprisonment. Oh, anong pagkaiba niyan? Hindi. Maybe what you heard is pareho lang, pero there's a differentiation. Life imprisonment is for of serious offenses penalized by special law. Let's say special penal law. Ang reclusion perpetua is prescribed under the revised penal code. Life imprisonment is special law. Ang reclusion perpetua, nasa book, nasa codal talaga ng RPC. Okay? Tapos, ang reclusion perpetua is merong accessory penalties. Ang life imprisonment, walang accessory penalties. Diretso talaga, life imprisonment. While reclusion perpetua entails imprisonment for at least 30 years. At least 30 years. Pero 40. So, which the convict becomes eligible, pero ang life imprisonment does not appear to have any distinct. Kasi life na eh, life imprisonment. Indefinite extent or duration, di ba? So, ang difference lang niya, special law ang life imprisonment, ang reclusion perpetua is only in the codal of RPC or in the law. So, gawa-gawa yan ang life imprisonment. Special law. Ito. One item. Uh, indeterminate, indeterminate sentence or IS law. Okay? What do we mean by Act number 4103 or indeterminate sentence law? Meron tayong maximum, mayroong minimum, merong maximum term, at saka may minimum term. So, ang procedure niyan is, ang haba naman ng procedure. Ano lang, inapplicable siya kung persons convicted of offenses punished by with death penalty or life imprisonment. So, hindi siya applicable sa death penalty or life imprisonment. Hindi din siya applicable for conviction of treason. Conspiracy or proposal to commit treason. Hindi din siya applicable ang IS law sa misprision of treason, rebellion, sedition, or espionage. Hindi siya pwede sa IS law, yung mga espionage, rebellion, merong mga treason. Oo. Tapos, may piracy. Convicted of piracy. Tapos, yung sinabi ko kanina, habitually delinquent, hindi siya applicable. Indeterminate. Hindi rin siya pwede sa nag-eskapo sa bilangguan. Escape from confinement. Hindi din siya pwede as a conditional pardon by the chief executive. Pero may exemption lang. Exemption lang. At hindi siya applicable sa term of imprisonment na does not exceed 1 year. Okay? Yes. Not applicable. Sige lang. Ano pa? Maraming mga jurisprudence or cases pero iba-iba eh kasi yung indeterminate sentence law is very special. Paiba-iba siya. Tapos maraming jurisprudence this one. Pero iba-iba, depende lang po sa kaso. Kasi pwede man magawan yun ng mga special. Oo. Okay, huwag na natin kung ano, graduation of penalties. So more or less ay yun lang ang i-focus. Pero focus more on which is yung sinabi ko, mostly yung articles 11 to 15 talaga. Tapos i-enumerate mo yung elements at saka yung mga requirement. Yun talaga ang main. If you master that one, papasa ka sa Crim Law 1. Yes, that's it. Tapos, after this one, bibigyan kita ng sample bar question and answers na combine na from last 10 to 20 years para uh, makafocus ka na at makapractice ka na sa essay writing. Kasi essay lang talaga. It's not a recitation, it's not the assignment, but ang essay talaga yung magpahihila sa iyo on para makaproceed ka sa Crim Law 2. Mm. Oo. Mm. Dapat gandahan mo yung mga introduction mo. For example, dapat mag-legal basis ka na. In case na diretso lang, under the law, blah, blah, blah. Pwede man, that means oh, mm, yes. Pwede kita bigyan ng, pwede kita yung bigyan ng, mm, pwede kita bigyan ng mga introductory lines. Oh, meron din ako niyan. Oh, di ba? Oh, paano sisimulan yung essay, yung paragraph at sentence? Para magmukha siyang medyo parang knowledgeable at literate sa law. Ayan. Okay, okay. How to effectively convey. Mm. Oh. Basta ang rule lang, most especially sa bar exam, kung pupunta ka lang sa bar exam, dapat walang words na manggagaling sa atin. Dapat nandoon lang sa law, which is yung caudal. Okay? So, dapat lagyan mo ng mga, matutunan yan. Separate yan. Pero sa review days mo na yan. Tapos, ano pa ba yun? Technique. Dapat mas-spot mo yung issue. Kapag mas-spot mo yung issue, dapat lahat ng paragraph related to that issue lang lamang. Yung mga whether or not, oh, kasi distraction ng paragraph eh. Alam mo ba yung facts is a distraction lang. Distraction lang yung facts. So, dapat automatic diretso ka sa issue. Kapag mas-spot mo yung issue, sa issue ka mag-focus, huwag sa facts, huwag, kasi ang issue po ang magpapa-increase ng score. Kasi yung issue mo sa four paragraphs mo, doon lang nagre-revolve. Hindi nakasali doon ng facts. So, yan, it's a distraction. Ganyan yung bar exam, 'di ba? Have you noticed bakit 20 to 30% lang pumapasa? It's not because na 13. Yes, lalabas na. Meron ako mga lawyers po, pumasa dito, Oh. Hindi lang lawyers po, all courses, all exams po. Meron naman separate pages. Yes po, all courses, all exams po ang tinatanggap ko. Basta related sa exam. Kasi ang sa bar exam lang at saka sa law mo yung sa essay. Pero other courses, multiple choice man lang. So nakuha ko na yung structure. Oo, don't worry. Ay, don't worry, bigyan kita ng bar question and answer para mahasa na yung writing skills mo. Okay? So that's it. So, okay, so since you still have time, I'll give you the bar question and answers para matodong na yung English language mo. Okay? So, thank you very much. Maybe tonight or tomorrow para sa Consti Law, di ba? Constitutional Law. Okay. Okay, thank you very much and God bless you sa exam. I-send ko ngayon. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.